Let me ask you something. Do you know any guys in your life, or maybe you are this guy, who have put considerable effort into self improvement, who perhaps have gone to the gym, maybe gotten jacked, who've worked on their finances and their entrepreneurship and gotten into a good spot with their money, and who seemingly have all of their ducks in a row externally? And yet, they still cannot get a girlfriend or be successful in their dating life. And then on the flip side, do you know any guys who don't have those things, who maybe aren't so conventionally physically attractive, who aren't above 6 feet tall, who don't have a six pack, and probably aren't making over six figures a year, who also just have stunningly beautiful girlfriends, who have that Eastern European man look, who are dating a girl who basically looks like a model? What in the world is going on here? Well, here's the hard truth that a lot of modern mainstream self improvement gurus do not know, and so they cannot tell you. Self improvement will not get you a girlfriend. Getting shredded, making six figures, and reading a bunch of books on stoicism is not going to improve the specific set of skills that will actually improve your results with women. In fact, I can't tell you how many guys that I know who have gotten their money together and who are physically in shape, but are still as awkward and clueless around women as they were before. I've spent the last 5 years relentlessly working on this area of my life, pouring tens of thousands of dollars into dating coaches and studying everything that actually works when it comes to dating and attraction and implementing it myself, most importantly. The reason why is because, like so many of us men growing up today, I did not have an example of a healthy role model, a healthy male role model in my life who showed me what it was like to be a healthy, sexually integrated man in a relationship with a woman. The examples that I got growing up were of men who were very absent emotionally or generally relationally and sexually incompetent. So I had to undergo a very painful and expensive process of filling in the gaps of fatherhood that I never got when I was growing up. In the process, I have learned some very counterintuitive things, and I've learned exactly why a lot of the traditional self improvement strategies fail to improve men's results in the dating market, and more importantly, what actually works. And in this video, I'm going to show you why your standard self improvement routine is not translating into success in the dating market. What women are really attracted to based on real life experience and not theory, and the specific skills that you need to develop to dramatically improve your results in your dating life. Now, for reference, how much have I improved using what I'm about to tell you over the last several years? I would say about 5 years ago, when I first started working on this stuff, the front end side of relationships, the building attraction part, I probably would put my skills on a scale of 1 out of 10 at like a 1 or 2 out of 10. Today, 5 years later, I would say that the front end skills that I have when it comes to dating and attraction are somewhere around like a 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of my ability to implement the material in my real life, and probably a 10 or 11 out of 10 in terms of actually understanding the material. So I am on this journey with you. I am certainly not exactly where I want to be, but I have seen unbelievable improvements in my own life in terms of implementing what I'm about to tell you, which is why I'm so confident in what I'm about to say. Here's what we're going to cover. First, why conventional self improvement does not improve your dating life. Second, the 3 drivers of attraction that actually matter. And third, specific actionable ways that you can actually cultivate these skills. So let's start by talking about what most guys consider to be self improvement. If I asked 10 different guys, I would probably get 10 different answers. And that's because self improvement is not a coherent ideology. There are gurus around the internet who basically are telling people that self improvement constitutes hitting the gym, making more money, reading more books, quitting drinking and ending various forms of degeneracy, practicing meditation, going to bed on time, building a morning routine. It's some list of obscure skills or habit changes that guys are instructed to make on the promise that doing these things is in large part going to improve their results in the dating market. Because frankly speaking, that is why a lot of guys get onto, quote, self-improvement. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's have a very nuanced discussion here. None of these things are bad. All of them, in fact, that I mentioned are valuable and worthwhile pursuits. But here's the problem. None of these activities are going to directly improve your dating or social skills or your ability to create attraction. And that is important because romantic relationships only occur where there is attraction. Many of these things will raise the floor of your baseline attractiveness. For example, losing a lot of body fat, getting more muscle is going to make your baseline attractiveness higher. But the moment you open your mouth, if you're still insecure, if you still have horrible conversation skills, if you still don't know how to flirt, if you still don't know how to lead an interaction forward, no amount of muscle that you put on is ever going to result in more girls wanting to date you. One of the very ironic and sad things about these endeavors of self improvement is that they also reliably backfire, oftentimes. When guys pursue these things out of a deep sense of insecurity, as in, I'm going to put on more muscle or make more money so that a girl will finally like me, that insecurity never really goes away. And so the muscle that they've put on ends up coming off as this giant external piece of self qualification. There's a way in which a person carries themselves with money or with muscle or with some of these other sort of obvious external ways that men try to increase their attractiveness that results in a sense of, oh, this guy's just like that because he doesn't like himself. Because you see, the harsh reality is that most of the self improvement activities that these men are pursuing are ways to try to compensate for insecurity. They are sophisticated, avoidant behaviors that allow them to bypass doing the work of changing who they are internally. They are comfortable escape routes that let guys feel like they're making progress in their dating life and their dating skills and becoming more attractive while avoiding the truly uncomfortable work of learning how to become an attractive man. The vast majority of guys that I have met who have gotten into self improvement also end up becoming what I call a theory junkie, or what many people call theory junkies, where they're basically trying to become a better basketball player by reading books about basketball and lifting weights while never actually picking up a ball and going to practice basketball. Sure, you might be stronger and you might know the rules of the game a little bit better, but come time to play, you're going to be terrible at the game. So, what actually matters then? What is the foundational set of skills or behaviors that leads to romantic relationships forming? Well, first, I want to say what we're about to talk about is what I call the front end of relationships. This is the attraction piece. And one thing that is very, very important that you are about to learn, that I'm going to emphasize and break down in some nuance, is that in dating, it's very important never to put the cart before the horse. Attraction must always precede comfort. Most guys put the cart before the horse, and they think that they can build comfort, build comfort, build comfort, build comfort, and then attraction is somehow going to follow afterwards. That is not how romantic relationships form. You have to learn how to lead with attraction. So what I'm about to break down here for you is what I consider to be an 80-20 rule on the skills or the behaviors that actually generate attraction. That means this is not a comprehensive set of everything that you're going to need. These are the three things that will generate 80% of the results. And what are they? Here we go. 1, fun. 2, good emotions. And 3, a better place to go. I'm going to run through those again. Fun, good emotions, better place to go. Fun, good emotions, better place to go. One more time to sear it into your brain. Fun, good emotions, better place to go. That's it. Now let's break them down one by one a little bit more. First, fun. As the song goes, yes, girls indeed just want to have fun. Every woman wants her romantic relationship to be fun. She wants it to feel like an escape from the stressful, logical, analytical, strategic energy that she has to embody in every other area of her life, especially at her job. A romantic relationship is not supposed to be serious. Women want the kind of connection with a guy that results in them laughing a lot, smiling a lot, feeling playful and teasing, feeling like her inner child has come out to play, that create very memorable moments, but not in a very serious, intense kind of way. She wants a guy that can create these kind of fun, memorable experiences with her and for her. Now, in a moment, I'm going to break this down further into ways you can actually increase your capacity to have fun. But we're going to step through each of these just to describe a little bit more what I mean by them first. Now, number 2 is good emotions. And I know that's pretty vague. Good emotions is a giant umbrella term that encapsulates the emotional experience that a woman wants to have from a high value man. And I just said another vague umbrella term. What is a high value man? I know. What I want to do here to make this simple and digestible is 80-20 this as well. I'm going to give you the 4 things that generate about 80% of the good emotions inside of a relationship, or especially during the attraction phase, and out of which a lot of the other good emotions will follow. These 4 things are: 1, presence; 2, groundedness, which are different; 3, self amusement, which is a little bit different from just having fun; and 4th, sexualization. We'll go into each one of those things here in the next section of the video and talk about the skills or practices that you can deploy in your life in order to cultivate those specific qualities. But I want to finish off this list that we had before. So, third and finally is a better place to go. Women want this experience of a story that gets better over time. Women want a man who can make them feel safe and who can confidently lead the interaction and lead the relationship to a more interesting, more fun, more desired place than where they currently are. Now, that is both literal and metaphorical. Again, we'll break that down. See, so much of modern dating advice continually pummels guys with this advice that they just need to increase their provider qualities. They just need to make more money. They got to have decent looks. They got to be kind. And while that's not a bad thing, it's not going to get you a girlfriend. Or increase your basic hygiene. Like the things that science says that women want in a man is intelligence. So get educated. And they want a good job and a high paying salary. So get a good job. And then these guys do all these things only to climb to the top of that ladder and realize there's no women waiting for them there. You see, think of it like this. Every restaurant serves water. All of these providership qualities are the lowest hanging fruit for men to achieve in their life. They're a bare minimum requirement for a restaurant to be worth even considering eating at. But nobody chooses to eat at a restaurant because they serve water. They all do that. People choose a restaurant to eat at because of the experience that follows being served the water. And similarly, women are going to see the providership traits in your life as the thing that gets your foot in the door, but they will want you as a boyfriend or partner or husband or father for their kids for the emotional experience that comes after that. And if you want to be able to provide women with the emotional experience that they desire from a man in a romantic relationship, you're going to need to cultivate the other skills that I just mentioned. And now we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. Now, let's break down the most powerful ways to develop each one of these attraction components that I just walked you through. And similar to the rest of the theme of this video, I want to do this in an 80-20 style, meaning I'm going to give you the 2 things within each one of these categories that you can do that will give you 80% of the outcome that we're looking for. That also means that as you're listening through this, if you're thinking, oh, Nate, that's not all there is, you're right. But the purpose of this video is to move the needle for you the most with the least number of things to do. So let's get into it. How do you create more fun? First, I want you to understand this incredibly important principle. Fun is not something you have. Fun is something you are. Let me say that again. Fun is not something you have. Fun is something you are. Now, I want to give you a short anecdote to really drive this point home. I used to live in Nashville, Tennessee, and there is a Whole Foods in downtown Nashville that I used to go to. And when I would go to this Whole Foods, which I'd probably been to like 30, 40, maybe 50 times, I had a very routine and, let's say, boring experience when I went in there. I would park my car, I would go up into the store, I would go get what I needed. I probably wouldn't say much of anything to anybody. I'd go to the self-checkout, I'd get my bags, I'd head back to my car, boom, 15 minutes, in and out, I was done. I never had a particularly fun experience at Whole Foods because what is there in a Whole Foods to have fun with other than maybe the occasional conversation with a girl that I approached or something like that? But something turned that idea on its head for me, which was this. I have a very good friend who some of you may know because you found my channel through a podcast that I did with him. His name is Austin Summers, and he is truly one of the best men's dating coaches that is alive today. So I'd highly recommend that you check out his content if you are interested in mastering the skill set that I'm talking to you about. But he came to visit me while I was living in Nashville, and we went to this Whole Foods together, the same one that I had this very boring experience in before. And now Austin, somebody who has mastered this skill set, somebody who really is fun, rather than somebody who just has fun, came with me to this Whole Foods and we walked in. And all of a sudden, within the first 2 to 3 minutes, he's making quick little compliments and comments to people as we're walking by. He's making people smile. And then all of a sudden, we turn down this aisle and there's a guy walking towards us with this basket that is full of these giant water jugs. And as we're walking by, Austin just makes a quick comment and he says something like, "Damn, dude, you're going to be super hydrated." It was something like that. And all of us just started laughing. And then we go to the checkout, and all of a sudden, I find myself wanting to make funny jokes. I'm imitating the voice at the checkout kiosk, which is something that in all of my 30, 40, 50 visits to this Whole Foods, I had never done. Now, why do I bring this up? Because there wasn't anything fun at the Whole Foods. Austin is the fun that he brought to the Whole Foods. Do you see the difference? Austin is the kind of person who doesn't need an environment to be fun because the fun is in him. He brings the fun into every environment that he goes into. Now, as we were walking out, this realization hit me pretty hard, where I realized that the reason why my life wasn't very much fun wasn't because the opportunity was never there. It was because I wasn't fun. And so after having that realization hit me, I worked very intentionally to cultivate the skill set that I'm about to walk you through at a pretty high level. But I really, really want you guys to understand your life becomes fun when you become fun. And there's a way to do that. So how do we do that? One, how do you have more fun? How do you become fun? You need to cultivate your sense of humor. And how do you do that? I'm going to give you two things to practice. The first one I love because it doesn't require much additional effort in your life at all, if any. And you can swap it out one for one with other things that are not really great uses of your time. So I want you to look throughout your week for the time that you're spending scrolling on Netflix, Amazon, whatever, playing video games. And I want you to one for one swap that time with listening to stand-up comedians. Watch their specials, listen to them on podcasts, immerse yourself in people who are professionally funny and find the kind of humor and the jokes that land with you, that make you laugh. And two things are going to happen. One, as you spend more time immersed in the headspace and the joking and the not being so serious of these professionally funny people, it's going to wear off on you in the best way. You will start to naturally notice that the way they think will start to become the way you think a little bit in a good way, meaning in your normal interactions, you will start finding yourself recognizing opportunities to have fun, to crack a joke, and to tease somebody where you just didn't see them before. Now, the second practice to go hand in hand with that is to intentionally practice being funny, bringing your humor out in the social interactions that you have in your day-to-day life. That means when you're hanging out with friends, to have the intention to just crack some jokes with them. See if you can look for opportunities to tease somebody or to imitate them in a kind of funny way. It turns out that people respond really well to bids for play and humor, which is something we're going to talk a little bit more about in a second. But realize that you already likely have the forum for improving your sense of humor, if you will, and it's called the friends you already have or the people that you come across in your day-to-day life. So immerse yourself in comedy, bring it into your day-to-day interactions by being intentional about making more jokes. I promise you, if you start doing this, you will notice a difference within days. And where you'll be in 30 days will be so much more funny than you are today that you will look back and wonder why you didn't start doing this earlier. Now, the second part of having fun is you have to reconnect with playfulness. So much of the good emotion that all of us want inside of romantic relationships, especially, but all of our relationships, frankly, stems out of playfulness. For example, if you really like the emotional experience of flirting with somebody that you like and who likes you back, the essence of flirting is play. It is playing with each other. It's the little push-pull, like, I'm going to kick this over into your court. You going to push it back? It's that kind of playful, subtly challenging energy with good intent that brings out this really fun emotional experience. Why? Because it's play. People love to play. And in order for play to happen, you have to stop taking life so seriously. The essence of being playful is being the person who is not so trapped in this serious, logical, analytical, boring, heavy energy that working a standard 9 to 5 job and living in modern society tends to just drill into people until they mistake it with being the whole scope of their personality. One of the most powerful experiences that you can provide somebody in a relationship is the experience of allowing their inner child to come out to play. The way you do that is by first allowing yours to come out and play, reconnecting with your inner child through doing things like finding non goal oriented play that you enjoy as an adult. So, what do I mean by that? What is non goal oriented play? Those are things that you do for fun that do not have an outcome that you are trying to achieve. It's not competitive. You're not doing this so you can win. You're not doing it so you can be better than somebody. You are doing this simply for the joy of doing it. What are things that encompass this non goal oriented play energy? Music. If you learn to play music, maybe you have a goal of learning to play a song or something like that, but nobody sits down to play music because they're trying to get to the end of the song the fastest, right? We have this intuitive sense that the purpose of music is non competitive. The purpose of music is the joy of music. It is, in its essence, playful and non goal oriented, or rather, I could say non outcome oriented. Another fantastic thing that I recommend for my clients is to go take dance classes. Go take an adult hip hop class or a swing dancing class. Learn how to tap into your body and allow yourself to be more self expressive and free and to have fun. These things are massively helpful with tapping back into our inner child and bringing that more playful side out of us. Another incredible practice, which honestly, I challenge you to do this. I highly doubt most of you will. So prove me wrong. Here's what I want you to do. Go into your bedroom, shut the door so nobody can see you. And all I want you to do is turn on music that you like dancing to. Or it could be any music that you could potentially dance to. And your challenge is for 10 minutes straight to just dance. And you're not allowed to stop. That's the one rule. 10 minutes straight, you're not allowed to stop. And I want you to practice letting that sillier, more goofy side out of you, who is just dancing because it's fun and not because you're trying to look cool. See, this is what a lot of guys get wrong when they think about what is a high value man, right? Self improvement teaches you that a high value man is serious, who has a business. I make 6 figures. I go to the gym. I read Marcus Aurelius. Not that that's bad. However, in an environment, in a social environment, that guy is not the highest value guy. The guy who is the highest value, if we want to use the like high value man thing, is the guy who is allowing himself to have fun, to be self-expressive, to be silly, to let go and be goofy if he wants to, while not caring what anybody else thinks. I swear, if you will do this dancing exercise and say you go out to the bars and you go to the dance floor and you just allow yourself to dance and have fun, or you don't even have to go to the dance floor. You can do this on the sidewalk outside, I promise you. If you can be the kind of guy who just says, I'm going to do this because I think it's fun and I don't care what other people think. I'm not trying to look cool. I am pushing my own buttons internally. I think this is super fun, so I'm going to do it. I promise you that will get you such positive feedback from the people around you. You will have people walking by laughing. You'll have girls jumping in who are dancing with you. I promise you, it has nothing to do with the fact that you look cool or you're a good dancer. It has everything to do with the fact that you're playful, you're fun, you don't take yourself seriously, and you don't care what anybody else in that environment thinks of you. You're not trying to look cool. You're not looking for permission. You're not putting on a performance for anybody trying to get some kind of approval. That is the highest value energy inside of a social environment. Now, do you need to be a dancing clown? Absolutely not. You should be able to have fun, be silly, be goofy when the circumstances allow for it or call for it and when it feels aligned to you. The next part of play beyond how you're showing up in the present moment is also that your life is fun and playful in nature. Do you have fun things that you do on a regular basis? If the answer to that is no, here's what I want you to do. every Sunday or every other Sunday, you're going to start having a Sunday fun day. You're going to choose one thing that you want to do. You don't even know if it's going to be fun, but you want to go experience it because it might be. And I just want you to commit to doing one fun thing one day per week and start inviting people to it every single Sunday. Hey, we're going stand up paddleboarding this day. Oh, we're going to this coffee and cold plunge thing on this next Sunday. Hey, we're going to do a taco night and ping pong tournament this Sunday. If you can be the guy who comes up with these fun, playful ideas for other people to come be a part of, I promise you that is going to change your life so fast and in such a radical way. You will be kicking yourself that you did not take responsibility for just being a more playful, adventurous person earlier on, because it's so easy and it is so rewarding. Okay, to bridge the gap between what we were just talking about, right? If you have fun, if you're playful, you're feeling super good, you're the one who is giving people permission now in any environment to also stop taking themselves so seriously, to also have fun, to also be playful, be goofy, to be silly, to let go. If you can be the source of that, what are you now providing others? Good emotions. You become the source of good emotions when you allow yourself to feel them. It's you first, then others. When you feel good in your body, you give other people the emotions that you are feeling. Women will generally feel about you the way you feel about you. A golden rule of social dynamics is that other people tend to feel what you feel. That goes in both directions. So if you feel uncomfortable and anxious, you're probably going to make other people feel uncomfortable and anxious. However, if you're carefree, fun, letting go, being a little silly, being a little goofy, clearly not caring about what anybody else thinks, you become this oasis for people, where by you embodying this energy, you're giving all these other people permission to also let go of the mask, to let go of the serious energy, to let that fun part of themselves out. If you can embody this fun, playful energy, you will be like a spark of freedom in a social environment. Everywhere you go, people will just tend to have fun. And that will create this virtuous spiral when you go out to socialize, where you make the decision to take ownership for being playful and having fun. Then everybody else starts being playful and having fun with you, which is more fun, which gives you more reason to play. And all of a sudden, your nights start being so fun. And you become the source of fun and good emotions first by self-amusing. This is a key concept that many of you who are familiar with social dynamics have probably heard before, but it stands the test of time. This is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the two, I would say, most important energies to cultivate within yourself, to bring into your social interactions so you become a source of good emotions for others. Now, what does that mean? What does self-amusement mean? It means that you are doing and saying the things that you think are funny and fun and entertaining. You are there sort of tickling yourself. You are pushing your own buttons. You're saying the jokes because you think they're funny. You are doing something, not because you're trying to look cool, but just because you think it's fun or you think it's funny. A great example of this, take Austin, who I just brought up before. I went out with him one night and he had a $20 bill that he broke for ones. And then he proceeded to walk around the entire bar and try to hand out $1 bills to various people. Did Austin do that because he was trying to look cool? No. Most of the people that he tried to approach, he could not get them to just take the $1 bill because they were kind of weirded out. You know what Austin thought of that? He thought it was hilarious. He thought it was hilarious. And then all of a sudden he would find somebody who was just perplexed. Like, why is this guy handing out $1 bills? And then he's having so much fun because he thinks this is a hilarious thing to be doing, just randomly handing out $1 bills. And then when a girl doesn't accept, he would ask, like, why are women afraid of wealth? He's not being serious. There's no serious energy. He's not over there like, excuse me, this is a really serious thing we're about here. This dating, socializing thing is really serious. And if I get rejected, it's going to be really bad for me. Instead, he just is doing something he thinks is fun. He's got a dollar bill and he goes over and he tries to like give it away. And then the girl's kind of confused. And then he starts this banter back and forth about why is she afraid of wealth or something like that. And all of a sudden there's laughter and people are having fun, right? His willingness to push his own buttons created the permission for everybody else to join him in that fun. The most amusing person in an environment is the person who is most amused with themselves, who isn't looking for the fun in somebody else to take, but who has it within them, and they are like a cup that spilleth over. It is the fun within them that gives other people the invitation to join him in that fun. You must become self amused, push your own buttons, do what you think is fun, say what you think is funny. The next part of providing good emotions, and this is absolutely crucial, being able to bring a good vibe, being able to have fun, being playful is essential. It is fantastic. You don't need to be a dancing clown, by the way, but you do need to have some of the fun, playful energy for sure. The next part, which is non negotiable, if you bring nothing but fun, but you don't have this part, you will not get into romantic sexual relationships. You must provide a girl with sexual emotions. She should be able to tell that you are there talking to her because you're a man and she's a woman. The way you're looking at her, the way you're talking to her, right? The slower cadence, the teases, the flirting, the jokes, all of it communicates, I'm here because I'm attracted to you. And you can even be very direct about it, right? If you see a girl who you think is cute or attractive, you can just go tell her. You can just go up to a girl and say, hey, I was with some of my friends. I saw you. I thought you looked very cute. I had to come meet you. It turns out, as you will find, if you take this risk, for those of you who maybe haven't gone and done something like this before, women actually want a man who is courageous enough to be honest. It turns out, I know this is a mind-blowing concept. Women actually want to meet confident, fun, flirty, honest, sexual men who obviously are socially calibrated. If you are fun, if you are confident, if you are flirty, if you know how to move an interaction forward in a kind of sexual direction, meaning it moves in the direction of getting a phone number, of setting up a date, of kissing, of whatever it is, depending on the particular interaction that you are in with that particular girl, that is what women want. It turns out, like, they're human beings. Like, they actually like sex. I know. Crazy concept. And they like everything that leads up to it. Just like you. Yeah, wild. So it turns out if you have the courage and the willingness to be honest about your intent, to show up authentically, wholly as you are as a man, with how you feel, owning it, expressing it, that is actually super well received. And it turns out to be essential. Girls want to feel like you are there because you're confident, because you're not afraid of displaying the fact that you're interested, but you are also doing so in what we would call a non needy, non creepy, socially calibrated way. What is creepy means you made her feel sexually unsafe. You are doing something that is violating social norms surrounding safety that made her feel extremely uncomfortable. What does that look like? You violated personal space way too much. You came in way too soon, way too fast. You went for a kiss when it was obviously not a good time to do so. She was not giving you the green light on that, and you went for it anyway. Those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about, where displaying that kind of intent in a socially uncalibrated way, girls really don't want that. But if you can be the kind of guy who can show up and just say, hey, I thought you were really cute, I wanted to come meet you, that's going to be incredibly well received. Being clear and being honest about your intentions is infinitely more attractive than hiding them. Hiding them is anti-attractive. Women want a guy who is confident, who isn't afraid to express his intent or his desire, who knows what he wants and will go for it. These are the elements of the sexual energy that women crave from men that allows sexual tension to form inside of any given relationship or interaction. So you got to be able to self-amuse. You got to be a source of fun and playfulness in your own life. And second, you have to be able to spark sexual tension. And you do that through the way that you communicate your honest attraction for a girl. Last but not least, we're going to talk about how to embody the leadership quality of having a better place to go. Now, first, there are micro levels to this. If you approach a girl and let's say you're kind of on a busy sidewalk and all of a sudden people are walking past and maybe they're bumping into you or almost bumping into you, what is a micro leadership step that would indicate that you have a better place to go? Hey, let's step over here really quick, out of the way where people are running into us. Or you don't even have to say something. You can actually just move your body and she will likely accept the invitation to take 2 steps to the right out of the way of all these people who are walking by. And then after you move to the side, if the conversation's going really well, maybe you ask the girl, like, hey, are you in a hurry? Like, what do you got for the next hour or two? And she's like, oh, I'm just out shopping. I'm free. And you look across the street and you see a Starbucks or some coffee shop. Then you could propose, hey, well, I was about to go grab a coffee. Why don't you join me for 30 minutes? A better place to go. Oh my God, you can actually just lead interactions forward. And women love that. In fact, they desire it. It is what cultivates a sense inside of them that this man is confident, he knows what he wants, and he will lead. So in your interactions, always keep this principle in the back of your mind of a better place to go. And do that on a micro level. You'll have to practice this over time to develop that kind of natural sense for when is the right time to propose moving to the next spot. But generally speaking, it's going to be wise to do it on a high note. So when the interaction gets to a high note, then you propose moving to another spot. You don't want to do it on a low note. Like I said, there's some amount of social calibration that can only come from experience with this. The next step within this micro leadership aspect is the decisiveness and assertiveness. There are few things more unattractive to a woman than an undecisive man. Just make a decision and do so confidently and with a sense of certainty. Are we going here? Are we going here? Let's go here. Okay. Finally, a man who makes a decision. Make the decision. I'm going to say it again. Make the decision. The next tip here is to assume leadership. Do not ask for permission. By God, do not ask for permission. Like, oh, please, may I take you to the bar, madam? Oh, please, may I move you over here to the side of the sidewalk? I don't want you to be upset with me. Please don't reject me. Please, I would like to take you over here, but I don't know. Is that okay with you? Like, annihilate, exercise that permission-seeking, indecisive energy from your entire being. Be decisive and assume leadership. If she doesn't want to go, she'll tell you. But you should have that kind of assumption inside of you that just says, hey, let's go here. Boom. Hey, let's go over to the bar. Boom. Hey, are you hungry? Yeah? Let's go get pizza over here. Boom. It's that assumption rather than like, would you like to go here? Right? Don't ask for permission. Just be decisive and assume leadership. Outside of the micro leadership, you also have a better place to go energy on a macro scale. So that means when you plan dates, it should have a natural progression from start to finish of going from one place to another and maybe to a third that are increasingly cool things to go to. So perhaps you do something like, we're going to start with ice cream here, then we're going to walk by the river, and then we're going to go up and watch the sunset from the best spot to view it in the entire city. That is the kind of date progression that gives a girl a sense of this guy has a better place to go. We started here, it was cool. Then we did this. Oh, that was a better experience. And now we're finishing it off with the best experience. That is the kind of leadership, the better place to go energy that women love. That should also be evident in how you lead your life, by the way. She should get a sense from you that you are on a path in life generally, that you have a mindset of wanting to go to a better place, that you have a better future that you're planning and working towards, that you have things, ambitions, and hobbies and goals that you are moving towards, right? That is the better place to go energy that drives attraction. Now, the key difference between traditional self-improvement and all these skills that I have just walked you through is that all of these have to be practiced in process, in interaction with real human beings and real women. You cannot develop any of these skills by consuming theory, by watching more YouTube videos, or by staying isolated. This means you are going to have to deliberately and intentionally put yourself out there and go talk to some girls. You're going to need to start some conversations. You're going to need to start demonstrating and communicating your intent. You're going to need to put yourself in experiences where rejection is a guaranteed outcome. Every person gets rejected. You have to be willing to experience that if you want to get better. So you have a choice to make today. You can continue to spend years on the self improvement grind, which, let's be real, is probably just a giant escape maneuver to avoid actually approaching a girl in the first place. And you can work out in the gym and you can get a six pack, you can build your career, build a business, you can read Marcus Aurelius until you're stoic in the face. And none of those things are ever going to change your ability to generate attraction inside of a relationship, because none of those things will help you develop the skill set that is required to do so. None of those things will ever magically translate into dating success, no matter how much you hope they will. Or you can recognize that attraction is a changeable, learnable, specific skill set that requires direct and deliberate practice, just like any other skill worth learning and worth mastering. So ask yourself, do you want to be the guy who is impressive on paper, but who women feel absolutely nothing for? Or do you want to be the guy who might not have the perfect life on paper, but isn't doing a lot of these things out of insecurity, but who also knows how to create magnetic attraction and deep connection and the good emotions and the other experiences that women want inside of a romantic relationship? If you are serious about improving your dating life, I want you to start by focusing on one skill from each of the categories that I've outlined today. Practice it deliberately for the next 30 days. Put yourself in social situations where you can exercise these muscles and watch how quickly your life and your results change. And as always, if you are struggling with pornography and you are struggling with everything that I outlined in this video today, I want you to go down into the description below and click that link to book a consultation call with me. This problem is solvable and these skills are learnable. You do not have to stay in this place of suffering so much. There is nothing to be gained from spending the next 1, 2, or 5 years of your life struggling with the consequences of a solvable problem and a skill set that you just haven't learned yet. But you need to get yourself connected to the solution to the problem and people who can help you develop this skill set. So if that sounds like you and you're ready to get out of this cycle, to level up, to learn these skill sets so you can just solve the problem for good, go down into the description below and click that link. And remember, self-improvement alone, consuming theory, will not get you a girlfriend. But becoming the kind of man who creates fun, who creates positive emotions, and who offers a better place to go will. I hope you guys got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.